Hello, my name's Michael Conneely, and this video is all about the Ketu Mars Conjunction, the Ketu South Node Mars Conjunction, that's exact on the 5th of October 2023, and its energy is dangerous, sharp, but with giant spiritual potential. And I hope that this blog post will help us know how to navigate towards that giant spiritual potential. So Ketu, the south node of the moon, and Mars are a transiting conjunction. It's gathering now at the time of filming, and it becomes exact at 1 degree Vedic Libra on the 5th of October 2023. That's 25 degrees Western Libra. This conjunction's basic energy is horrendous, super powerful, sharp, and very dangerous. Unless we can see and embrace and handle and manifest its vast potential side for light. You can get a reading from me all about this and about your life or your year ahead or relationship from my Star Wheel Astrology website. And join me now in this very deep dive to understand the horrendous energies of this Ketu Mars transiting conjunction, but also to understand its vast, empowering, transcendent light side potential that with this extra knowledge we can now embrace. Let's start by looking at the nature of Ketu and Mars. What is Ketu, the south node of the moon? Well, Ketu is the energy carrier of our past lives and ancestry. Ketu holds locked a lot of energies from past lives and ancestry. And the point is, Mars can unlock these, but then it's up to us to handle that, or it can even bring disaster. Ketu's presence is often accompanied by fear, alarm, and dread. That's his energy. And Ketu's energy is very much like Mars. Ketu also causes doubt and disturbance, conflict and isolation. I've been also at the same time having my nodal return, and so I very much have been feeling these Ketu energies. He has the power to overcome the sun. He has the power to obstruct the moon. But at the higher level, Ketu is the sharp and cutting deliverer of potential spiritual insight for you. When Ketu is transiting close to one of your planets, you can heal. When Ketu is close to a planet, you're able to draw from that planet, whatever that planet holds. And remember, in the case of this transiting conjunction, Mars will trigger Ketu. Ketu can be seen by analogy as being like a well, a deep well, the deepest that goes to the unconscious we have and beyond. And Ketu is also like a mirror on top of that well. What do we see in that mirror? And when a planet conjuncts Ketu, Ketu will show us everything about that planet in our life, our consciousness from this life, from past lives, from our ancestors. If you make the effort, unconscious levels of that planet are dragged out by Ketu and shown at the top of the well in the mirror. If we make the effort, Ketu responds by showing us also what's under the mirror in his depths. and this will come out at the time of this transiting Ketu Mars conjunction, and certainly it sort of comes out very much at the time of your nodal return, when the nodes in the heavens go over the nodes in your birth chart. The other things we need to be aware of is that Ketu pushes us to psychic and spiritual dimensions. Ketu can give us keen insight into the subconscious within ourselves, our hidden side, our shadow. Ketu is piercing and penetrating intellect and psychic powers, connects to the well springs of wisdom and the love forces of creation. And if we can do this, Ketu destroys our ignorance, but if we can't, often very difficult things happen. What will this Ketu Mars conjunction show you about your past lives and ancestry issues? What will this Ketu Mars conjunction show you about your Mars issues and about your Mars issues within relationship? What will this Ketu Mars conjunction show you about any of your natal planets that Ketu aspects, or the house in your birth chart he now occupies, where houses in our chart are life areas? You can get a past life reading that will be really wonderful for you from the healers who work on my Love Star dating website, by the way. Go to the lovestardating.com healers page. But okay, it's not just Ketu in this conjunction, it's Mars as well. What's Mars? Well, Mars is action, energy, passion, power, strength, courage and aggression, argument and conflict, reckless, impulsive, vengeance and revenge, the selfish will. He can be felt as discontent until you discover the real source of power within you. Mars is also logical insight and concentration, intensity and evolutionary betterment, especially if he's in Virgo, Sagittarius, Aquarius or Pisces, for example. Mars' nature is fire. On the higher level, Mars facilitates strong spiritual and occult dimensions within us, fighting the enemies within rather than hurting others. On the higher level, this is the real test of masculinity and leadership, higher Mars leadership. Higher Mars leadership has developed to walking with people, not leading the horde, as was the case with Mars of the Iron Age. So to contact this higher Mars, we develop strength based on self-awareness, not on blindness. Take in this higher Mars energy. Take it into yourself. Reach out to others. Understand yourself. Understand your triggers and your vulnerabilities. Feel what the other is feeling if you're using Mars in this higher way, and sympathize. Recognize yourself, who that is, and your weaknesses and your failure to reach out to others. But don't make an identity of your vulnerabilities. Incidentally, asteroid Sedna is about an upbringing of violence and denial. But when purified, being able to gift harvest to others, harvest to oneself and to others, harvest, of course, being asteroid Ceres. So, what will you make of this Ketu Mars conjunction now? Well, is it the base energy or the higher energy? This conjunction's base energy is horrendous, super powerful, sharp and very dangerous. Until and unless we can see and embrace its light potential side. Incidentally, the last time I personally encountered this combination was when Ketu transited over my natal Mars in November 2022, and I weakly agreed to the local surgery's insistence that I have the anti-flu injection and the anti-COVID injection on the same day, and I was very ill. Ketu over my natal Mars. This time, Ketu and Mars are gathering towards each other in the heavens at the time of filming, and they will be exact conjunction at 1 degree Vedic Libra on October the 5th. So yes, it's gathering now, but already in this gathering period I've encountered 2 very nasty incidents of a severe accident plus an evil attack. So yes, Ketu Mars conjunction's energy is nasty and dangerous. But in this post I seek to suggest super important ways of handling the challenge, of developing our awareness and growing in our power and our resilience. And wonderfully also letting the light shine through this new, more powerful you. When another planet transits over Ketu in the heavens, or Ketu in your chart, remember, it's an existential crisis centering on the life focus of the planet that Ketu is contacting. So definitely check out at this time where you are now, at this stage in your life, with your Mars issues, because this is a Ketu Mars conjunction in the heavens. But also if Ketu is conjuncting or aspecting a natal planet, you will be opened to insights about all the deficits of that natal planet, but also all the potentials of it. It's actually transiting, it will be transiting over my Sun, 1 Libra, a horrendous energy. And note that if we are unprepared to bear the pressure, this may actually bring further binding. Brave facing of our Mars and Ketu issues will free us to enter the heavenly gate. Brave facing, with brave facing, you will become an inspiring figure who will help others to progress courageously, because the higher Mars is about courage and Ketu is about spiritual progress. So do check out where you're at with any natal planet of yours that Ketu Mars is transiting over, or opposing, or aspecting in some other way. Now the next thing I want to mention is Chaitra Nakshatra. This terrible conjunction is in Chaitra Nakshatra at 1 Libra. And Chaitra Nakshatra is ruled by Mars, so it becomes even more sharp. The nakshatras are the wonderful 27-sign lunar zodiac of Vedic astrology that tell us supremely so much about our emotionally based personality and our relationship issues, just for one thing. Though note that at the higher level of manifestation of Ketu in Chaitra, it produces clarity and wonderment. Although Ketu Mars is a very destructive force, it's also its opposite, the fire of light. It's like homeopathy, perhaps, where something destructive like sulfur in the right handling can cure and empower. Okay, how would you do an astrological analysis of the Ketu Mars conjunction as this transiting conjunction will impact your life? Well, certainly, if you want a reading, get in touch with me through my Star Wheel Astrology website. But what would we be looking at to judge how we'll feel the cutting potential power of this Ketu Mars conjunction? Well, first of all, your natal planets. Check out if you have natal planets conjunct this transit at 1 Vedic Libra, or planets in your birth chart opposition this, or planets aspected by this. And in these cases, you'll likely undergo immense challenge, especially if it's the conjunction or opposition. And it could quite possibly be through what appears to be almost a catastrophe or a sharp event that you will first feel the Ketu Mars energy, and thus the challenge will start for you to receive its power in the most positive, spiritual, insightful way and grow. Well, the next thing to check out after natal planets being affected by the Mars-Ketu conjunction is your natal houses. Now, houses are areas of life. The houses in your birth chart are each about a particular area of your life. And so, for example, if Libra is your 4th house, issues of mother and home and roots and ancestry will erupt in some way in the physical world or in your consciousness. The next thing to check out is your natal nodes of the moon, Rahu the north node, Ketu the south node. Check out, especially at this time, what house Ketu is in your birth chart. This is because your natal Ketu will be activated by the Ketu Mars conjunction. This is really important. Again, get a reading from me about your nodes and destiny and how this conjunction will affect them through my Star Wheel Astrology website. For example, if you have Ketu in your 4th house, issues of no roots or no mothering, or terrible ancestral or past life scripts will be activated. But ideally, for you to develop perception, for you to grow spiritually and open yourself to healing. You see, Ketu is supremely about our past life and ancestral issues. In fact, I certainly believe, and the Vedic model is, that as we are about to reincarnate, our soul reviews the karmas we had collected at the end of our last life. And from that total karma, our soul chooses a selection of the key karmas for us to work with in this life. You see, all of us come in to this life where Ketu is in our birth chart. It's called the camp of the occupying army often. And we're all of us thrown across our chart to where Rahu is in our chart, always opposite. Because Rahu is our karmic destiny, the direction of our fate and life purpose. And I have to say this, we absolutely have to understand and purify our Rahu if we're ever to arrive at its destination. Do you understand your destiny? Get a reading from me. So the next thing that needs to be understood is our Varga charts or divisional charts from Vedic astrology. Particularly, the sum total of our past karmas is shown by the D60 chart, the Shashti Amsha. Each of the divisional charts or Varga charts says something so special about a particular area of your life. Your D60 expresses your accumulated karma at the end of your past life, and the D1, the Rashi chart, expresses the selection from that we're born to work with. Now, I always include in these wonderful, supremely revelationary Varga charts such key factors from Western astrology as Lilith and Chiron, for example, for fullness and accuracy. You see, one reason I do this is that a Vedic astrologer, a wonderful one, once told me Mars is your strongest planet, but my Mars is conjunct Chiron. It has a wound. So this is but one example of why I always combine Vedic with Western astrology in my readings and in my courses. It's also crucial to study where Lilith is in your Vedic natal and Varga charts. The D2 horror chart, the second Varga chart, for example, declares amongst other things our gender issues. It's so necessary to have respect and gratitude for the Vedic tradition, yet also move it forward to encompass vaster dimensions such as outer planets and Chiron and Lilith, dimensions that have been further embraced by humanity and entered the consciousness since the Vedic age, along with wider healing methods. And I always combine my astrology readings and courses with healings and healing methods.